All right, raise your hand if you saw me last year. Okay, everybody, put your hands down. Okay, so I used to volunteer here, and then I turned into a substitute teacher. But right now, I'm just going to be myself. Okay, I don't have my keys. I'm just me. So everything you're going to hear today is coming from me. I don't have a script. I don't rehearse these things. What you're going to hear is coming from my heart. Okay, and you're going to see Miss Rebecca before she became Miss Rebecca. Because what you're seeing right now didn't used to exist. And I'm fixing to tell you how I got here. Okay? I'm only going to tell you certain parts of the story because I'm going to tell you what my life was like here in this building a long time ago. I wasn't just a substitute teacher or volunteer. There was a time that I used to be a student. And my life here as a student is a lot different than what you're seeing right now. You're asking me how I got here and why I'm here. And today I'm here because I walked through some stuff. And this is very, very important to me. How many of you get bullied in school today? How many of you bully people in school today? You won't raise your hand on that one.
Oh, wait, I thought you said how many.
How many people get bullied in school today? Okay, you can put your hands down. And those of you who do bully people, I'm fixing to give you a whole other perspective of what that actually looks like. But what you're seeing right now didn't used to exist because I have something called cerebral palsy. And I know that's a big word, so I'm going to explain what that is real quick. Cerebral palsy is a mental/physical disability. It changes your appearance, it affects my brain, it affects how I process things, how fast I can do things, but it also affects how fast I can move, and sometimes I can't control everything my body's doing. So in my mind, for me, when I'm reading something, I can't get it all. For me, it's all about how you present the information to me. It doesn't mean I don't know something. It just means I have to do it differently. Cerebral palsy affects my brain, and the part that got affected is the part that processes words and numbers. For example, it looks something like this. If you give me a book to read out loud to a class, I can only do one word at a time, and I can't piece it all together. Because in my mind, I'm having to process the word, and I might not even know the word, so then I'm trying to sound it out, and then I can read you the word. And I won't remember what I'm actually reading about, because my brain is so busy trying to process words that I can't remember what I'm reading about unless it's really short. If you read me the book, then I can remember everything you tell me. I can tell you more than you wanted to know. I can either do one or the other. I can't do both at the same time. For me physically, I didn't used to look like this. My feet, when I was little, used to be like this, and I used to walk on my toes. So my appearance was very different from other people. My knees used to touch each other, and my back used to be a lot worse than it is. So how did I get here? Today, I've had 5 surgeries, I've learned how to walk 3 times, and I've worked my way out of a wheelchair twice. That's how I got here. And all the normal stuff that you guys could do, there was a time I couldn't do it. All the stuff that you guys are doing naturally, like eating with a fork, somebody had to teach me how to hold a fork. Because when I had one of my surgeries, it erased all the muscle memory in my body because they cut all my muscles. So I had to relearn how to do everything over on top of not looking or learning like everyone else. So to give you an example of what my brain is actually doing, from up here it looks like I am doing everything together, but I'm not. I'm going to do something that I've done in some sessions, but I want to see if I can break my record. With cerebral palsy, I have a really hard time with my balance because it's out of proportion. I can't do both at the same time, but I also can't stand on the same level as everybody else because I'll lose my balance. My right side is my strong side. Left side is completely different. And I'm about to show you how. So here's what I'm going to do, okay? I'm going to stand right here. And I'm going to stand on one foot. But here's what I want you guys to do. I want you to count how long I can stand on one foot. Right now my record is 35 seconds. You think I can beat it?
Yes.
All right, let's find out. So don't start counting until I pick my foot up. When I put my foot down, then stop. Okay? All right, here we go. And then I'm going to do the left because I want you guys to see what's actually happening.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm going to start over because I know I can do that. What happens when you fall?
You get back up.
Get back up. Okay, so I'm going to try it again.
Never give up.
All right, you ready?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50.
Good job.
Broke my record, and that's as long as I've ever done it in my whole life. So now we're going to try the left side. Totally different. You ready? I don't know if I'm ready. Here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We're now working together. Doctors told me that I would never be able to run or play any sports. And today I have a black belt in karate, and I used to play soccer throughout my entire life. I have physical and occupational therapy to teach me how to do these things. But that's what was going on the outside. Nobody really knew what was going on the inside, because when I came to school and I walked these hallways, I always smiled, even when it hurt. I remember seeing the paintings get drawn on the wall. I remember seeing the playgrounds get built outside that you guys play on every day. I remember seeing the track being built, the one that y'all run around every year. I remember all of that. But there's a whole lot more that I remember than just what this building used to look like. I remember coming to school, not looking like everyone else and not knowing why. I remember getting pushed down in the hallway every day and people laughing because they thought it was funny. I remember wishing that I could do what you guys are doing, but there's nothing I can do to fix it, and I don't know why. I remember not having all the things that you guys have, and I remember thinking that everybody else had more than me. So why am I here anyways? I remember giving my test grade all I had, and it didn't ever seem to matter. Because no matter how hard I studied, no matter how hard I tried, I always failed. And it was just because I couldn't do the test like they were giving it to me. People thought it was funny when I got pushed down on the playground. They didn't help me get back up. They just made everybody else laugh. And then I got asked questions like these. Why does it take you so long to finish your work? Why do you walk that way? Why do you jump like that? Why can't you do what we're doing? Why can't you have the clothes I have? Why can't you wear the shoes I wear? Why do you wear these braces? Why do you do that? And they weren't asking out of concern, and believe me, I know the difference. There's a difference between asking because you really want to know, and there's a difference between asking because you're trying to make a joke out of it. I remember going home and looking at myself in the mirror, and I used to turn my entire body like this. and wondered what was wrong with me. Not only am I not good enough to pass, not only am I not good enough for people at school, but I'm not good enough for myself. And I don't feel pretty, and nobody ever told me that till I was 12 years old. Nobody told me that I was beautiful until I was 12 years old. So the whole time I'm here, this is what I'm thinking. I believe that I was ugly because somebody told me that I was. I believe that I was a failure because somebody told me that I was. Somebody put the bar so high that I could never reach it. And no matter what happened, it was never good enough. Why wasn't it good enough? I made myself sick over it. But even when that happened, it still wasn't good enough. How much further does somebody else have to go for something to be good enough? I walked through the hallways and all they did was push me down and they thought it was funny. But then I got back up and picked my book up and I kept going anyway. You guys have papers every day to do for homework or in class. And before you even try something, you say you can't do it. Don't tell me that you can't do something before you even try it. Because you know how I got here? Because I tried anyway. I couldn't do it the way you did it, but I found a way to do it for myself. Imagine if I had listened to the doctors who told me that I couldn't play any sports. Then I would still be doing nothing. I'm supposed to be in a wheelchair, but I'm not. It doesn't feel good, but it's still worth it. When I was in 3rd grade, I went to PE one day. And it was an ordinary day for me. But I walked out to the gym in one piece and came out in 2 pieces. Because I went to PE and we were playing a game. And I was the kind of person that if I fell down, I really didn't say anything. I just kind of got back up anyway and kept on going. Even if I had blood going down my leg, like, that was no big deal. I just kind of just let it go, and then I would fix it when I got back inside. But on this particular day, I had one of those bullies that was going to come after me no matter what. And it didn't matter what I tried to do or how much I tried to avoid her. She always just tried to make things extra hard. So I went to PE class and I was playing the game that we were doing. And even though she didn't intend to break my arm because she pushed me down, that's what happened. And somebody thought it was funny. She got a kick out of it, but I left PE that day totally different. Can I ask you a question? Mm-hmm. Does it matter what I look like?
No.
Why not?
Because you are still a human.
Having cerebral palsy doesn't make me any less of a human being. And whatever's different about you, I don't know what that is, but it doesn't make you any less of a human being. But I also have to say this. If you're not going to pick on me, why would you pick on someone else? Because their life is worth just as much as mine. And you can't put a price on a life because it's priceless. It means you can't put a price on it. So if you're not going to pick on me, don't pick on somebody else. Because you see what happened was I came to school like nothing ever was wrong. And I got back up when I fell, but nobody knew that I went home and stood in the mirror every day questioning what was wrong with me and why am I here and why am I going through all of this? Why am I having 5 surgeries and why am I wearing braces and why can't I do what everybody else is doing? That's why I don't take for granted what I'm able to do today, because there was a time I couldn't do it. But I kept trying anyway. And only when I couldn't get back up is when I said I couldn't. But by then I've already tried 5 times. Because I've always wanted to go roller skating. I've tried every skate that's been invented and a skateboard. I can't go roller skating by myself. But I can do it if somebody's willing to help me. I need one person on the left and one person on the right. And I also need one person in front of me because I don't know how to stop very well. I put them on, just kind of stand like this. And the longer I skate, the further my legs go because I can't put them back together. I don't know how to stop, so the only place I'm going to be rolling to is the wall. Okay? So somebody has to be standing there. And somebody behind me because I can only skate backwards. I can do it if somebody helps me. And if somebody would have taken the time to pull me back up and stand on my side, then I still could have done it. I don't care what you have and what you don't have. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what you sound like. And I even don't care if you fail a test. Here's what I'm going to say to that, because this is very hard, because what ended up happening is I determined myself by my test scores, and my test scores has nothing to do with why I'm standing here today. If you come up to me and say, Mr. Becca, I failed a test today, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. One, did you study for it? And 2, did you try? And if you answer both of those answers yes, then I'm still going to be proud of you anyway. Because you tried your best and you gave it all you had. The only time you fail is when you stop trying. And when you come up to me and tell me that you failed a test and you didn't study for it and you didn't try, I'm going to tell you to do it again. But if you come up to me and you know you did your best, I'm still going to be proud even if you fail. Because my test scores have nothing to do with why I'm standing here. I used to think that it wasn't going to get any better, but it does. It took a lot for me to get here, but I got here. But if somebody would have told me that I was worth something, and told me that I was beautiful just the way that I was, then it would have changed everything. So today isn't just about bullying. It's about somebody standing up and saying that I don't care what you have and what you don't have and what kind of clothes you have and if you wear glasses or not, if you have this kind of shoe or that kind of shoe. I don't care about that. I had a girl I went to school with when I was in high school. We had middle school on one side and high school on the other. And there was a girl that came to school almost in her pajamas. Like, she tried to get herself together, but she couldn't. And I knew the situation, and it wasn't very good. She lived at home with her grandma, and her mom was gone, and she doesn't know where her dad is. So she basically took care of herself with what she had. She couldn't take a shower every day because the water was cut off. And so I kept a toothbrush for her when she got to school, and I brushed her hair out and I did her hair every morning. Because that made her smile. Not because I cared that she came to school that way. I just wanted to make her smile. But why did I do that? Because her appearance didn't matter to me. I still loved her. And from then on, she came to me every morning. You shouldn't determine somebody's worth by their appearance. And you shouldn't treat them badly just because they look different from you. Because if you look around this room today, none of you have the same face. None of you have the same personality. None of you have the same color hair. None of you come from the same family. None of you are the same. Even your fingerprints are different. So all of you are different. I just have something that sets me apart distinctively from everyone else. None of you are different. So should it matter?
No.
There's a teacher here. How many of you see Mr. Holquist? Okay, put your hands down. I knew Mr. Holquist before he lost his leg. Mr. Holquist hasn't always only had one leg. When I was in 4th grade, I was back in my wheelchair and had surgery. And he just lost his leg, so he had a wheelchair. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Because we were the only 2 people in the building that were in wheelchairs. And so one day he decided that he wanted to have a wheelchair race. So I just pulled my wheelchair out of the classroom. And I didn't know this, but he was going to do an all call. So it gets on the intercom. All 4th and 5th grade students, please come out into the hallway. For what? Because at the time I didn't know that this was going to happen. So I come out of the classroom, and here's Mr. Holquist in his wheelchair, all the way down past Miss Johnson's room. We started there, and the finish line was right there at the double doors at the cafeteria. We had a tie. And that was one of the memories that I remember, that for 1 second, it didn't matter that I was in a wheelchair. The only thing that mattered was that somebody was going to win. Somebody was going to win. And the teacher I had that year rearranged her entire classroom just so that I could come to school. I didn't come to school for you. I didn't come to school for the kids. I came to school because of my teachers. Because while I'm making myself sick over it and missing everything under the sun and trying to figure out how to walk with this 200-pound cast on my leg, they made school worth coming to. Because if it weren't for some of them, I wouldn't be here right now. And if I lived by how I feel every day, then I wouldn't be here. My teachers made school worth coming to. And when we went outside for recess one day, while I still have my wheelchair and I'm in a cast and I'm trying to figure out how to walk in this thing, I walked for the first time in a month and a half. I finally took my first steps on the track that y'all play on every day. And everybody that was outside started clapping for me, and my teacher stood up because I was trying to get her attention and she wasn't paying attention. But I wanted her to see that this was happening and that I was okay. It didn't matter what kind of clothes I had on. The only thing that mattered is that I was up walking again. That's what mattered to me. I don't just walk through these hallways because I'm a substitute teacher. I was here long before that. You're like, well, how do you know so much about me? Because I'm watching you. And I'm watching them. I'm watching my teachers. I can learn more about you by watching you than I can talking to you. Most of you know that Miss Dottie was my teacher in 5th grade. She was my teacher in 5th grade. And she was one of those that made school worth coming to, because that's why I smile, because I got to see her every day. And I went by her classroom in my wheelchair before I knew her. Hey, Miss Dottie, hey, Miss Dottie, hey, Miss Dottie, how you doing? It's now been 11 years. And knew her then and I know her now, but I've learned a lot about her just by watching her. I know that her favorite color is blue. I know when her birthday is. I know what kind of flowers she likes. I know she likes hot wings and she likes anything on food.
She knows her.
She likes strawberries. She likes chicken enchiladas.
I'll get you some.
She likes anything that I can make at my house. She likes my cupcakes and my mama makes. But I also know that she works 12 plus hours a day so that y'all have what you need. And so does Miss Lacey. How do I know that? Because I'm watching her. And Miss Dowdy, I think I'm just going to get her a cot. She never leaves. Love this place. But just like I'm watching you, I'm watching this. But I also understand that bullying happens both ways. See, just like you guys have stuff that's going on that you don't tell anybody about, so do they. That's why they shouldn't have to tell you to clean the desk off and stack the chairs and to come in quietly and have a seat. From a teacher's perspective, they have stuff that you will never know about. I've known you for 11 years, and you still don't know the whole story. That's why it's important that you take the time to look them in the face. And to look past their test scores. It meant a lot when you remember my birthday. Or when you just take the time to ask a simple question of how you're doing and you don't just say good. It works both ways because nobody knew that I also had a bully at home. And I know for some of you that's a very real thing. I had a bully at home too. And his name was Dad. My bully's name was Dad. I had a bully at home and a bully at school. But nobody knew about the second one. I worked hard to get here every morning and nobody really knows what I went through to get here. I had one of those houses that you were scared to walk into. By the time I was your age, right now, I had survived 7 car accidents. And 5 of them were because my dad drove under the influence. When you have a disability like mine, I don't like to call it that, but I don't know what else to call it. They do a lot of tests on your brain to see how it actually works. And every year I have to take a psychological exam to see what was actually happening. I didn't know why they asked me so many questions. But when I got my results back, some of them were very low. Some of them were average. Some of them were actually high. But there was one that was off the charts. I measured 96% in protective instincts. That's why I know what your face is saying before you even talk to me. That's why I ask you how you're doing, because I know that face. There's no reason why I should still be alive right now. But I know I'm here on purpose. And most people don't get redos. I went through all that just to come back 11 years later. Yeah. But here's why. I started Bullying 101 because I saw the need for it. And I felt led to do it. So why not start why not start something? But here's the real reason after I thought about it. Every year that I was here, they had speakers come in, they had programs, and they had chants and dare and all this kind of stuff. And they had speakers come in. But nobody ever came in and talked about bullying, and I sat right there in the back every year waiting and waiting and waiting, and nobody came. And 11 years later, here I am. Nobody else could do it because that was my job. I'm not just your teacher. I'm just the extra ear. And I saw what was happening and I didn't like it. So I did something about it. Because I wasn't going to stand by and let what happened to me happen to someone else. People told me I wasn't going to be anything. And today, I'm a speaker, and a writer, and a missionary, all rolled into one. I've been out of the country 3 times, and I'm working on a 4th. I have 2 books, and I spoke to hundreds of thousands of people of all ages. From a girl who couldn't put her name on the paper, and used to be new in school, and now she's talking in front of people. That doesn't just happen. If you're a teacher in here, I'm going to talk to you for just a second. And I have already. But look at their faces. I know that you're a teacher, and I know it's tiring. And I know you work endlessly. And I know you think you always have to have your teacher hat on. You don't. Take time to smell the roses every once in a while. That's why I want you to be in here. And I'm going to do something really special in a few minutes, and then I want you guys to listen. I fell in the hallway a lot. I didn't know this when I went here, but the teachers I had were told not to help me get back up because I had to figure out how to do it by myself. So all my life, I thought I had to do everything by myself. I'm very independent, and sometimes I tend to be stubborn, just a little bit. But it's about that much that gives me the drive to keep doing what I'm doing. Because I can't tell you how many people laugh in my face when I tell them I'm a missionary and that I speak to people. They don't think it's worth anything, but I have living proof that it is. I always thought I had to get back up by myself. I don't know if I can do what I'm fixing to do, but I'm still going to try it anyways. When I went to school here, I fell on the ground, and I always had to use my arms because I couldn't use my legs. So I stood up differently than everybody else. But today I'm going to try to stand up on one leg because that didn't used to happen. If I make it, that's awesome. But then I'm going to do something else. I did it by myself. But that doesn't mean that you should always have to feel like that you have to do everything by yourself. I had to learn how to do things on my own, and I always did. People actually had to tell me to stop and let me help you because I wouldn't let people help me. So now the lesson I'm learning is I don't have to do my life by myself. And I'm going to be learning that lesson my entire life because I was told the opposite for over half of it. Just because I can doesn't mean I always should. Can you come stand beside me? Stay right here. Don't move. Just stay right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-oh, I got your hair.
It's okay. I got one. Okay. Everybody was told not to help me get back up. And you just saw me get up by myself. Just because I can doesn't mean I should. I'm making up for all the times that you couldn't help.
Aww.
Just because I could doesn't mean that I can't. Because I'm still learning this lesson, I have to live it out. So this is what I'm going to do. If somebody help me up, I'm going to help you get up. Yeah, you good? I'm going to help you get up. You all right? You good? Don't be scared to touch my food. It's okay. Like, I put it, wash my hands every day. I'm here anytime you want to talk to me. I'm going to always be there to pull you right back up because I'm still learning how to do this. But while I'm learning it, I'm living it out. You got it? I didn't see it. Okay. There's one last thing I'm going to teach you. Actually, it's like 3 things in one. And then there's somebody that I want to point out that should be because she deserves it. Are these scary?
No.
No. This is my first pair of braces when I was 3 years old. And I started coming to school with these at the same time. And as I got bigger, these got bigger. This is part of what I tried to hide my entire life. And if you would have just asked me, all I would have told you is that they help me walk better. There's nothing scary about them. They just help me walk better, and today I don't even have them because of the wheelchair I was in 10 years ago. I don't have to wear them anymore. But it's okay to be different because everything that I went through then, I'm using it now. If somebody hadn't broke my arm and pushed me down in the hallway and put 50,000 Band-Aids on my leg, and then I wouldn't be talking to you about bullying today, and it wouldn't mean as much. This is as quiet as I've ever seen you. But you're paying attention because I'm different. And I actually mean what I'm saying. But I also say this, I'm up here because I remember it. The things you do and the things you say matter to people. And I still remember what people said to me and what they did and how much that hurt. I say that these bubbles don't exist. Once I blow these bubbles out, can I put them back in?
No.
Yes. The things that you do and the things that you say work like these bubbles. Once you say them, you can't put it back in. And it goes both ways. I had a teacher pull me up in front of 300 people after I told her I didn't need to go up there. And there was an award ceremony. And I watched everybody else get an award. And I knew I wasn't supposed to be up there. And she pulled me up there anyway. One of the most humiliating things I have ever watched. Because I worked 10 times as hard as everybody else. And I had nothing to show for it. And I tried to tell my teacher that I didn't need to go up there. And she pulled me up there anyway. I'm not telling you that story because I'm trying to make someone look bad. But the things that you do and what you say, it goes both ways. Bullying doesn't happen to just kids, and it doesn't happen to just teachers. It happens to everyone. And there's a student in here a few weeks ago. We were in PE together. And it was when you guys were doing all those Fortnite dances. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I don't have the coordination for that, okay? I can do one or the other, can do both at the same time. But I like to participate. Anyway, and there's a girl that came over to me. After about 10 minutes, she realized I was having a really hard time. So she came over. Now, I didn't accomplish the dance move, but she helped me try and figure it out. She was trying to teach me how to do the floss, and no, I am not going to demonstrate. Okay? Please. I can't do that thing very well, okay? Because I either had this arm over here, and this arm over here, and my hip over here when it's supposed to be over there. And then I had this arm over here, and my other arm over there, and then my other hip over there. It just wasn't working well. It's supposed to be like, I don't know. I don't even know. I tried for like 20 minutes, and I felt so good because a student came over and tried to help me out. And at the time, I had my keys on, which means I was her substitute teacher. Kids can help teachers, and teachers can help students. I don't care what it is. Somebody took the time to try and teach me something, and I was willing to learn from her. And that particular student that's in here right now is Kirsten. So Kirsten, can you please come join me for just a minute? Say it afterwards, and I'm going to sign this for you, okay? Because Kirsten was that girl that I needed 10 years ago that broke my arm. And 11 years later, she showed up. So, you never know what I notice, you never know what I see, but I'm always watching on both sides. Somebody's taking a picture. Hold on. You have a seat. I'll sign up for you over now. Did you guys enjoy today?
Yes.
Good.
Feel bad
Alright.
for you.
Don't be bad for me. I'm up here. If I end up in my wheelchair, then I'll just run it over. Just run them all over. With a horn and a few other things. But I'm always here and I'm not going anywhere. And I'm not going to take it for granted. Every second I have counts because I don't know if tomorrow's coming. So, thank you guys so much. And I'm always here to listen.